Welcome to the Saturday morning preview show here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Kerry Pollock. Alan Ruff and Gordon Parks join us here this week. Ruffy, some new competition on the quiz. Tam's left us for a holiday.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's away for a week, away golfing.
I never knew I was replacing Tam.
Aye, I know. I know.
There you go.
But I got a wee win last week, didn't I?
You did.
I'm my first win of the season, so you're under a wee bit of pressure
A wee
now.
bit of pressure here, Parksy. The first game we'll look at is this afternoon. Celtic take on Hibs. Celtic had to settle for a point at Ibrox. Meanwhile, Hibs take the lead in the race for third. Parksy, are the Hibees a stick on for third place for you now?
Motivation factors here kick in, I think. Listen, Hibs, yes. It's a momentum against the motivation. Can Celtic motivate them again? Who's got the momentum? Who's got the incentive? It's a powerful force, that. And I think the dynamic changes because of that. So it could be closer than people think. But yes, Hibs for me.
Yeah.
Cruising towards third.
Will Brendan Rodgers have his side fired up, Ruffy, or can Hibs continue their winning ways?
Yeah, well, he's got a wee bit of a dilemma. You know, obviously picked up 2 or 3 injuries last week. A cup final coming up. Wouldn't want to pick up any more, you know. So he'll decide, you know, which players, you know, that he thinks he could maybe leave out. But I don't think there'll be that many.
Ruffy, do you not think a great opportunity from a young boy at Celtic? I want to go and chap his door and say, please play me. Because it means nothing, does it?
No. And the young boy come on last week, he'd be buzzing for getting on at Ibrox, so he'd be an ideal opportunity. But I think team selection, we'll just have to wait and see what he does. But definitely, they've lost their 2 wide men. I don't know how bad their injuries are, but can't afford to lose any of the 3 in the midfield.
What are we thinking scoreline for this game?
I think it'll be narrow. I think Celtic 2-1.
2-1, Parksy?
Momentum against the motivation. If Celtic aren't at it, Hibs can win that game.
Yeah, what are you going for then?
1-0 Hibs.
1-0 Hibs, all right then. Dundee United take on St Mirren. It wasn't their best performance, says Jim Goodwin at Easter Road, and this is not a good time to be hitting a bad form.
This is a group, a dressing room that are looking for contracts. I think Jim's held off, and I think again the motivation for those players to go and prove that they deserve to be part of things for next season. That's a squad that have, I think, done better than I certainly thought they would.
Yeah, underdogs.
I think they can't dip now because the consequences for some of these guys could be grave.
St Mirren not giving up on that European spot, Ruffy. If they win today, it's just 2 points between them and Dundee United. Is this their biggest chance at getting that?
Oh, I think they'll be on a high. You could see the celebrations last week when they scored.
Yep.
You know, the whole fan base believe it, the players believe it. They're on a run. You know, Dundee United aren't. You know, but I think every team in the Premiership goes through a bad 6 or 7 games. Unfortunately, Dundee United are hitting it at the wrong time. So St Mirren will got there with a lot of confidence. I don't think they're that good to beat them, so I'm going to go 1 each.
1 each, Parksy?
Yeah, I totally echo what you're saying there. I think there's a draw suits both to a degree.
Yeah, 1 each as well, Parksy? Yeah. Okay then, Hearts take on Motherwell. Is it the battle for 7th between these two, do you think? Hearts
need to again finish the season with a bit of a flourish because they have underachieved massively. I think they've got a superior squad. I think Motherwell have lost away a wee bit. In saying that, the character that they show to come back and win 2-1 at Dens is fantastic.
Yep.
They have to show that same kind of character because they're playing against a team that's better than them.
Ruffy, Derek McInnes has been linked with a Hearts job. He does get linked with every job going in the top flight. Is he an ideal candidate for the Jambos?
Well, we don't know which way these new owners are going to go, do we? We don't know whether they're going by the computer or listen to people. You know, that you need somebody, a manager with Scottish experience in the SPL, or you go for somebody random right out the blocks. But I just think they need to win because there's so much happening off the park now. We're never talking about Anne Budge, we're never talking about the CEO and everything, you know, and that's what happens when you don't win games. So they've got to continue winning games to the end of the season.
What do you think? How's it going to go?
I'm going to go Hearts, I think.
Hearts?
Hearts for the odd goal.
The odd goal, Parksy?
Yeah, I think Hearts by the odd goal. 1-0.
1-0, all right. Then Kilmarnock face Dundee. Again, everyone has something to play for. A win for Killie more or less makes sure that they're safe, but Dundee still fingertips away from being dragged into that relegation fight.
They are, and again, an alarming collapse, and I think the amount of goals they're losing is concerning. Kilmarnock have steadied themselves at the right time because they were in a perilous state, and I think, again, Derek McInnes, a guiding hand against his old pal, the experience there that he's got. He knows that if he gets the win, they're safe. And I think they will get it. 2-0.
2-0. Ruffy, Danny Armstrong's his contract runs out at the end of this summer. Is he on his way out of the club, do you think?
I think so. I think he's identified him in the window, wasn't he? He was wanting to move on to better things, you know, but we'll have to wait and see who that is. He's been a big player for them.
Yep.
He still will be. I think this will be a tight game. I think it'll be a very, very nervous afternoon for Dundee players in particular.
Yeah.
You know, once you're down there and you're not winning and you're not getting the rub of the green and the manager's going on about VAR and these things don't happen. He's got to get something out of this game with the other games coming up.
What are you going for?
A draw in this one.
At one each, Parksy, you said?
How much can you sit in the fence?
No, honestly.
Is this the game that I think Kelly will win 2-0? I think Dundee are in trouble.
All right then, final game of today then. St Johnstone take on Ross County. Is this the game of the weekend for you, Parksy? Between these two, who's going to end up in that bottom spot?
I think Ross County dig out results when they need to.
Yeah.
And this is the stage of the season they'll show it again. We've got a squad there that's together, a good young manager, and the importance of this is enormous. Again, if they get a win tomorrow, it gives them so much hope and they'll grab it.
As Parksy says there, Ruffy, Ross County have been in this movie before. Will that help them when the pressure starts to mount?
It'll help them, but I mean, it's still a nervous afternoon. You know, a lot of players have been there before. They know what's around the corner. They know there's playoffs. If they don't get their act together, I think, again, they went off the boil a wee bit. They 3 games where they won in the bounce. That hasn't happened now. I like some of the St Johnstone boys. I thought they actually did particularly well against Celtic for a wee while before they lost all the goals. So, and I like the boy Kirk. Is it Kirk his name is?
Young boy.
Young boy up front.
Mackenzie Kirk.
I just think they've got a more firepower at the moment than Ross County. So I'm going to go St Johnstone.
All right, what scoreline?
1-0.
1-0, Parksy.
I know.
At least you've gone for one, right, or the other. This is
Swing another way.
Stick on Ross County, edge at 1-0 because
1-0.
there's a resignation about St Johnstone, but there's still hope for Ross County, and that's enough for them.
Right, okay then, tomorrow then, Rangers host Aberdeen. Rangers' last win coming at the end of March against Dundee. Is the problem that Rangers seem to have as well, as you mentioned about Dundee conceding a lot of goals?
It is, and the fans have given up on their squad. I think even the draw last weekend meant very little, and I think Aberdeen can come down with a point to prove. Rangers, good, bad, indifferent, poor. Who knows what you're going to get tomorrow? And if it's any of those, Aberdeen win the game.
Is that something that Aberdeen have to remember, keep in their heads, that they can take account of that, like they will be under pressure, Rangers?
Yeah, I think they'll go down. There's this old thing at Aberdeen, in it. You've got to go down to Glasgow and prove to everybody you can get a draw or a win or something like that. Barry's right. You know, we don't know what Rangers team's going to get there. Barry, is he resigned that it's not happening, and he throws in a couple of young boys? He's throwing the boy Rice. He might throw in another couple, you know, just let the fans see. But for the Rangers players, it's all the doubt in the back of their mind is, now, am I going to be here? You know, am I the one that he's going to keep, and am I the one that's out the door? So he'll have to pick his selection very carefully.
Is the pressure from opposing teams going to Ibrox gone now because they haven't won there in 7 games?
I was at Love Street, it's Miser Stadium, and spoke to Barry about that 2 weeks ago, and he said the fear factor's definitely gone.
Yeah.
He knows it, and it speaks volumes of how bad a season they've actually had. Clubs now go to Ibrox not expecting a doing the way they should, maybe. Mm-hmm. It's that expectation and hope that they'll get something, and rightly so, because it's a bad Rangers team.
What are you going for?
1 each.
1 each, a draw?
No,
Ruffy?
I think Rangers 2-0.
2-0 Rangers, right then, let's go on to the quiz. Confident after your win last week?
The first one and
Your
2
first one
wins
in a
in the
wee
whole
while.
year.
It does cheat you sometimes, Tam, doesn't it? Right, so
You better tell
Park, so the rules are that you need to wait until I finish the question and then
You can't jump in.
You can't jump in. You shout out your answer
Finger
at the
the
end.
buzzer?
Nope, just shout out.
Okay.
All right, okay, first question. Conor McMenamin has signed a new deal with St Mirren this week. What nationality is he?
Irish.
Oh, would I say Northern Ireland?
He is Northern Irish.
What does that mean? Steers
This is how picky. This is how picky this is.
Yes, it is. It's
Who
a
wins that
picky.
then?
It's a rough.
Whoa.
It's this side of the couch, Robbie, isn't it? Right, okay. Second question. Who opened the scoring for Rangers last weekend?
Dessers.
He did. 2-0 Ruffy. Right.
I'm starting to sweat here.
Who are the only teams St Mirren have failed to score against this season?
That's a great question. Aberdeen. Beat
Ruffy?
last week, didn't they?
Dundee United.
Is Dundee United, because they play them this weekend. 3.
Impressive though.
This is for your pride here, Parksy, right?
How many questions are there?
5, you've got
Right,
2 left.
Okay, granny to
Right. James Forrest overtook. Who is Celtic's most decorated player?
Bobby Murdoch.
Bobby.
Murdoch.
Not Bobby Murdoch.
Bobby Wallace.
No. Bobby Lennox.
I'm going for the granny.
Bobby Lennox, right, we're going for it. And who won PFA Scotland Championship Player of the Year?
Boy for Falkirk.
No.
The Invincible squad
No, it should have been
of last year.
Calvin Miller. Calvin
But
Miller.
it wasn't Calvin
Was
Miller.
it Brad?
It was Brad Spencer.
Did I get half a point for
No,
that?
you get the full point.
He's giving you the full point. He wouldn't give Tam the full point,
No,
but there
no
you
way.
are. Okay then, on behalf of myself, Ruffy and Parksy, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with some more action to look forward to. Thank you.